Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video here we successfully designed our ad page, and here if you click the save all, and now if you refresh it, now you can see that is our ad user. So into the from to the ad user, I want to insert this data. Okay, I want to insert that role, add the admin user. You can put that username, email address, and the password. So every data will be inserted in our this database user table, right? So how can do that work? For doing this, first of all, we have to add one of the form action. So that is actually in our ad user page. Into the ad user page, that is our form. So to the form area, I want to first of all add one of the method. So that will be as a method will be needed. Method will be as a post method, obviously, and after that I also want to put one of the action, and with the action area I want to add one of the route, right? I think you already know about this part if you already complete my basic all that section. So to the route area, I want to create one of the route as a users store. Okay, so this type of one of the route I want to create. So now go to our web route. Into the web route area, I copy it, and here I paste it. So that will be our another route. I name it as a store. Okay, that means the users and then store. Then into the controller, user controller, I want to create one of the method as a user store. And then our name I have declared our this route will be as a user stores. That means the users and then store. Perfect. Now we have to create this method in our user controller, and obviously that will be as a post method. So I make it as a post. So now I want to create this method in our user controller. Now go to our user controller, and after this I want to create one of the new one as a public, and then function, and then our method. And into the method area, because of all here, that is actually our post method, right? For the post method, always, as I told you, we have to pass that request. So that means the request and then the $request. Okay, that means the request and the $request. And after that, first of all, if you want to add some of the validation, you can add that validation. In fundamental, I have discussed about a lot of the time. So here, if you want to use, I just take one of the variable as a validated. Okay, validated data. You can also get that from Laravel official website. That means into the validation they have this code. So right now there is a very much common code. So the request. So with this request I want to add that validate. Okay, validate. So that will be as a validate. So to the validate area here, what are the field you want to add that as a validation, you can add it. Like first of all, I want to make it as an email. Okay, email field will be as a required. So now I want to make it as a required, and also if you want to make it as unique. Okay, so that means unique. Okay, unique. And unique will be where? Unique will be in our user table, right? So here we have to add that our table name. So that means that is actually our table name as a users table. So it will be unique into the users table. Right, friends? So here I simply updated that validation, and also you can add that maximum type, maximum, minimum, everything I have already shared with you. And you can also add, if you want to add another one, like as a our field name. Our field name I declared as a this one actually I name it as a name. So I also want to make it as a required. That means the name field data will be also as a required. Okay, that will be as a required. So if you want to add it, you can add multiple as per your demand. Okay, and after that I want to actually store this data. So here I'm using looking into RM. I already loaded that default user, so right now you can actually use it. Better I show you. I take one of the variable as a data, and with the data, first of all I want to create one of the object for our this user. So I create this object. Okay, and after that with this data, then our all that field name, that means our database field name has a, for the users table, if you go to that structure, that is our user type, right? So our user type will be our requested one. That means here with the request one means here I have always used the same name. Here you can see there is a user type, and also I make it as a user type for the ID. Is not matter, but here also we don't need this. I remove this validation because I have already added that validation. So that is our user type name. I want to do and to copy it, and it will be as a user type. Perfect. And also after that, there is actually our rest of this field I want to take. So I better paste it. So first of all, there is a user type, and then there is a name as per our database field name. So our database name is also as a name, and then the email. That means there is actually our this part actually our requested part. That means whatever the data I actually pass from here. Okay. So that is our email, and this part is our database field name, or database field name also as email. And then there is actually password. So I want to do and to copy it. So that will be as a password or database field name. And into the database here if you go to that our browse, there is actually one of the Bitrip password. Okay. So here I want to do and to create one of the Bitrip password. So if you want to create it, then here you can do that work. So that will be as a field name, or field name as a password, right? And here I want to do and to make it into the first bracket, and I want to make it as a Bitrip and Bitrip password. So that means it should be saved with the Bitrip password in our database, this password table field. Okay, perfect. And after that, I want to do with this data, I want to save all the data. So with this data array, I want to do and to save all. That means save all the data. Perfect. So that's all. And after that, if you want to display that notification with using the toaster, I have already discussed about that things with you, how can add that toaster. So better I want to show you that things later. Right now I want to do and to return on the redirect. Okay, return redirect to our view page, right? I have already created one of the route for this one. So I have already created one of the route. If you go to our web route, so that is our view page. So it should be returned direct to our this view page. That means that is actually our route as a user view. So it should be returned direct to our this user view page. Okay. So now that's all. That should be inserted this data in our database. Now let's check this out. If everything okay, it should be work. Now click as a save all. Now if you go there, here I click as a refresh. Okay, I click as a refresh. So that is our view user. So that is our view user. Right now there is only one data. Now I want to do and to click as a add new user, and I want to create one of the role. I want to assign one of the role as a user. Okay, and also I make that name as a Kazi. Like I name it as a Kazi. Okay, and then there is a user email address. I name it as a kazi@gmail.com, and I put that password as a Udemy 12345. Whatever you choose. Right now I'm actually using as a Udemy 12345. So now if you click as a submit, you can see it's now showing as a 419. As I told you before, when you actually face this error, that means you are not adding as a CSRF token. Okay, so I am sure I'm not using that CSRF token in our form. That means in our add form, that means add user blade, and here that is actually our form. You can see I didn't use that CSRF token. So here make that sure you use that CSRF token. Okay, without CSRF token it should be not insert this data. And I click the save all, and now go back. Now I refresh it again. So now I name it as a user. I name that as a Kazi. Okay, I make it as a Kazi, and then I put that name as a Kazi@gmail.com, and then Udemy 12345. Perfect. Now click the submit. Yes, you can see it's now perfectly insert this data, and now it's redirect to our user view page. And into the user view page, you can see right now that is our total dynamic. That means right now our user is uploaded as a role as a user, name as a Kazi, email is also updated. And if you go to your database and if you click as a browse, and with the browse you can see there is a new data is inserted as a user name and the email address, and there is a password as a Bitrip, one of the password. Perfect. That means right now we are able to insert this data in our user table. Okay, so you can insert this data from here. And also into the sidebar, I have added that add user. I also want to update that part. Lately I will forget. Okay, so better that is in our user. Into the user I have created this route. That is actually our user add, right? I copy it into the sidebar. Into the sidebar, that is our add user. So right now I want to use it on here. Okay, now click as a save all. And now if you go click as a refresh, now there is a manage user, click as a add user. So now you can click as a new user, you can use it as a Aryan, I name it as Aryan. Okay, and then aryan@gmail.com and udemy12345. Better I want to use another one as a USA 12345. Okay, so this type of one of the password as a USA 12345. Now click as a submit. Yeah, it's now successfully inserted, but it's not giving any message because of all here I didn't use it. So right now there is a user as a name as Aryan and the email, so that is actually email. Okay, so here I want to use that toaster. So in fundamental I have already discussed about that things with you, how can add that toaster. So better I want to toaster. So right now for this project, for this school management system project, I also want to use that toaster. So how can do that work? In our next video I will show you that things with a live example. So thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.